tonight the song Mighty to Save. It's a song, it's in the key of G. The first chord of the song though is C. We might tend to think that the first chord is always the key of the song. This is the key of G, but the first chord is C. Why do I say that? If you play C first, you might not be able to get the note that you need to sing with. So just helpful to strum G before you start playing the song. So just on stage, I would just do a G, 3, 4, start song. And you'll see that I'm using inversions of chords that suit better the key of G. And the chords just flow beautifully together. So in the key of G, I'm playing the G chord with the 2 notes down below. I'm adding that D note there. Many times the books would say play G like that. But the key of G, it's beautiful if you add that extra D note. It gives it a nice resonating sound. And now, as I change chords, I keep those 2 notes below in place. So the G and the D note, I keep them there. So changing only these 2 fingers. So, G is the key. Then I start the song in C, drop down, just drop down those 2 fingers. My C, then the E minor, just change those 2 fingers again, keep those 2 fingers. There's my E minor. Normally you play E minor like that, but we kept those 2 in place. So from the C to the E minor, it's a small little change. And then my D, which is a D suspend 4, D sus chord to D, and my G. Alright, so that's a first thing just to remember. The key of G, these inversions that I've just played seem to work beautifully. So you have the option of using, in the key of G, you can use these inversions. Sometimes you want to rather use the standard chords like C, D, E minor, but the song Mighty to Save is definitely played with that inversions that I've just shown you. There's one thing I do as well. I do a little movement on the G chord. You don't have to do it. You can just keep strumming G, but I like to do this little filler. The chords will be here on the screen, so you can just follow those. Technically it's a G, G major 7th, but I don't think G, G major 7th. I've got the melodic sound in my head, and I know that if I play G like that, melodically, I can change to that note. In the key of G, that works. Everyone needs compassion. And then it's got that C, D, C, D fill, 4 bars of it. And when I'm playing, especially if I don't have a big band where I can get all big sounds, I'm kind of relying on a smaller band setting or maybe a solo guitar setting, then I've got a way that I amp up, I layer up those 4 chords, stepping it up as I go. So I do C to D, standard chords. Now I add notes, so C again, but this time I'm adding the G note. And this time the D, I add the A note. So just in sound wise, it sounds like this. It's melodically interesting, more interesting. Now you can just play C, D, C, D, and it's going to take up the space, but now at least there's something for the ear to latch onto. It might feel weird and difficult when you start off doing these chords, especially like this D extended, but once you get used to it, it's a beautiful chord to use and apply and sound so good. So just practice, practice, practice. Repetition is how you get to do these things. The first chorus, just by the way the music dynamic works, is you strip it back. You start, instead of playing full on, you hold back. So you just do rakes. Savior, He can move the mountains. So just a rake on the chords. My God is mighty to save. He is mighty to save. Just downward rake every time, like a slower down strum on the strings. And then the second of the chorus, you do the strumming again. Heaven, the author of salvation. You rose and conquered the grave. Jesus conquered the grave. The second time around chorus, you just keep strumming and keep grooving with the music. And then there's lastly the bridge. Shine your light and there I went to a normal C chord. Shine your light and let the whole world see, for the glory of the risen King, Jesus. And there's no set way to play. It's not like you have to play the C like that, or the inversion, you have to play the inversion. It's no, you have to do anything. As long as it's a C chord, a C or an inversion of C, or a C with an added harmony note, it just needs to complement the sound of the band and the sound of the music. If you're playing on your own, you have more liberty to tweak things. If you're playing in a band, everyone's got to be on the same page, same chords, and your chord enhancements need to complement what the band does.